that you asked us if we printed cash to finance the federal government. We didn't, is what they put out. And that was on August 25th. Take a look, because this has been circulating for quite some time. If the central bank has been printing money, we've been hearing this for quite some time, and we're going to go into the story of where we've been hearing it from and what it means. But now the Bank of Canada is setting the record straight as they've been using social media in recent weeks to engage with the public on the economy, explaining how inflation works and what it's doing to bring inflation back to its 2% target. Now, you'd think they would be holding this sort of conversation for press conferences and and symposiums, but they want to reach a wider audience, and what better way to do it than to go to social media, and more specifically when it comes to short characters on Twitter to set the record straight. So today's high inflation environment and what's been now become a political issue that the central bank has now decided to reach a wider audience to set the record straight on printing money, and they're saying they didn't. Now, this has been something that's been circulating for some time, as there is a Conservative leadership election going on, and one of the candidates, a very well-known one, Pierre Poilievre, who has been a loud critic of the Bank of Canada, as he's also vowed to fire the Governor Tiff McCallum if he becomes Prime Minister. This has been part of the policy that Pierre Poilievre has been putting out, as he's been zigzagging the country to talk to Conservative members and people who attend his rallies about Canada, the state of Canada, and what it means for inflation and the role the Bank of Canada has to do in all of this. Now, when it comes to the claims that have been now risen on printing money to finance the federal spending that we've been seeing during COVID times during the last 2 years, well, the Bank of Canada is saying that that is not what happened. They said that the policy called qualitative easing is a measure that the Bank of Canada has attempted to explain over Twitter. They said that what they did was they bought existing government bonds from banks on the open market. And why would they do that? They said they did this because it helps unblock frozen markets at the start of the pandemic. It also let households, companies, as well as government access funding when they actually needed it, according to the Bank of Canada tweet. They also they said that we did not print cash to pay for the bonds. Something that's referred to as qualitative easing is a relatively new tool that's been used to keep money flowing when interest rates are nearly at zero. And this can be cut even further. It can't go below zero, the interest rate, so this is a way of using it. It did garner worldwide attention when the U.S. Federal Reserve used in the aftermath of the 2008 market crash, if you recall that. The Bank of Canada has used this policy tool for the first time during the pandemic when it wanted to make sure that there was the possibility of deflation. So it was their way of, what they said is, to fight off the risk of deflation. It bought government bonds from financial institutions using settlement balances or reserves, and it deposited into the accounts of financial institutions and paid interest on them. This was the ability to purchase the bonds at a lower rate because of the interest rate on that bond, and therefore what it was, it lowered other interest rates, which made it cheaper for people to borrow. Now, the Bank of Canada began the process of qualitative tightening where they're now selling off these bonds back to the financial institutions, and that took place in April of this year. In a recent analysis survey by Angus Reid, they found that 46% of Canadians trust the Central Bank of Canada to fulfill its mandate, and while 41% said that they do not trust the Bank of Canada to fulfill their mandate. Now, the survey found distrust was higher among people who voted for the Conservative Party or the People's Party of Canada. This was an online poll that surveyed 5,032 Canadian adults, so Canadians over the age of 18, and which was conducted between June 7th to the 13th. There isn't a margin of error because it was done online, but what they do say is that they kept in line with the industry's generally accepted standards of online surveys that are not randomly sampled for the population.